Hey friends, today I am creating my title page for a vacation I just got back from about, I don't know, a few weeks ago. Yeah, we went to Colorado. Okay, and I cut this out using my Cricut, and I actually cut 3 layers and then glued those together. So my D here, I cut 3 layers out of just regular cardstock. And then to add some of that dimension, I just used my Barely Art glue, went around that letter, and that way you can kind of move them and slide them into place. And then I did that for the 3rd layer. So now I kind of have this chipboard, more dimensional letter. So it'll pop up off of my layout more and kind of create a shadow behind it. So that is how I got my letters. And then I have been itching to try this technique. And there's been a couple other creators that have beaten me to the punch, but I'm still doing it. So I cut out some mountains here. And these are from the Scenic Adventure. So I cut out the big one and I connected them. And then I cut out this little one, which you could use as a rock as well. But I am actually going to use these to kind of tuck behind in areas to create another layer. And then I cut out a couple of these trees to go in the, in front of those mountains. And those are from the new Light and Wonder dies. So they come with these big trees also, but I think those might be a little big because my plan is to put the scene on the letters. And then it also comes with, so that's that tree die. And then this little spot here, if you look at the catalog on page 36, you can see that that little opening here is for the water to kind of go between the trees. So I wanted to recreate that. This is the little water die. I used the Lights of Aurora 6x6 designer series paper. So it's this page here. The back is so pretty also, but I didn't want to bring in any of those purples. I wanted the blues. So I cut that out here. So then I can kind of layer that up. I've been struggling a little bit to figure out how I'm going to make this work. So I used my Cricut to cut out the letters. So they're not huge, but I think they'll fit nice on the layout I'm thinking. And I could also just create a scene and then put Colorado over it like that. But I kind of wanted to cut the letters out of it. And I might do something like this for a different layout because I'm going to have a lot of mountain pictures. I do have a lot of mountain pictures. So what I'm kind of thinking is Colorado will fit along here. So if I create my scene just on this mountain, then I can go through and I can kind of cut it apart, and I have it spelled wrong, but you get the idea. So then I can kind of cut it apart and go that route. So the trees would be the next layer. That one's fallen over. So if we kind of lined up that side and then kind of like that. I also thought of doing some trees in the background, but I think that might look good for another layout too, and then have some in the front. But I think I'm going to save that idea. I actually have a picture from when we were hiking that it looks like the trees are behind the mountains like that. So I think I'm going to save that idea, and I'll just glue this onto here. I got that completed. That was a lot more work than I expected it to be. I glued these on the back, and then I just used my scissors and cut around them. So definitely would have been easier if you have a die cut of some thicker letters, like the party alphabet, but I just wanted to try something a little different. And yeah, I think it turned out. You have the same concept. Then I was playing around with some papers, And this is a super old collection from close to my heart, Let's Go Anywhere. And I loved the topography of this. We did a ton of hiking while in Colorado. And then I was thinking of bringing in this tan color and just leaving a nice little border. I liked how the word Colorado looked on the tan. So I think I'm going to do that. And I just want a 1/2 inch of this showing. So I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer and just cut maybe 1 inch out of the center so I have a little room for adhesive, and then I can save the rest of this for later in the album. Plus I like that blue too on the back. So we'll use that, and I need to get that trimmed off too. I'm using some charcoal ink just to go around the edges of this, and it is 2-sided. I want the darker side on the front. So I just want to go around all 4 of these edges with some charcoal. I brought in my Versamat so I could get this lined up good. So I want it a 1/2 inch down, a 1/2 inch in, right about there. And my hand got stuck, but I think that'll work good. And then for my photo, I printed it as large as my printer would let me. So this is one of the pictures we took on one of our hikes. I wanted to choose a photo that doesn't need any journaling about where we were or anything like that. I'll do more photos from this hike in later layouts, so I didn't think that this needed an explanation. It's just a nice nature photo of Colorado. So I'll go ahead and fuss with that a little bit more, and I do think I want to matte this with white just to bring out the clouds, brighten it up a little bit, and I have white in my title, so I think bringing more white down here will be helpful. This layout is super simple for a title page, but I think it just captures, you know, the topography, going hiking a lot. We got a few paper layers in here, a lot of paper layers here. So I think the title just sticks out and is nice there. And then, yeah, my focal photo. I forgot to add the date, so using one of my alphabet dies, I just grabbed 2025. Don't forget to subscribe so you can see the rest of this album come together. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and until next time, live a life worth scrapping. Bye, guys!